Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This video is part 2 to the previous video uploaded entitled "We Were Taught This Growing Up in the US and We No Longer Agree." If you haven't watched part 1, I would suggest that you do so to better understand part 2. I hope you enjoy this video, and thank you so much for watching.
And just to add this point, we're not saying this to brag or to make people think, oh, they, whatever. Like, we're not trying to brag about anything, because there's times that, like my husband said, we couldn't do things, but in the beginning it was kind of hard to not be able to do those things. But as time went on and we matured more, we was okay with not being able to do some of the things that other people around us was doing. And now we're at this point, us denying ourselves those things at that time. Now we're in a position that we deny ourselves if we choose to, but we don't necessarily have to. I mean, everyone has a limit. We can't just go, balling out of control or anything like that. But some of the things that we couldn't do at one point, we've set ourselves up in a way that we can do them. But it took a lot of us, it took us saying no, denying ourselves a lot in order to be in this position. And we was talking about, how people saying, I work too hard not to enjoy myself or whatever, which that's fine. I do believe that, if you work, you should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But to be maxed out and still saying I work too hard and you going and enjoying yourself, to the point of where, like I said, you're maxed out, I don't agree with that. So you just made reference to the fact that, well, I was not having any payments. I mean, one of the biggest things that we had was our house, and we had to sacrifice to get rid of that payment as well. And that the part of I worked too hard, it really stood out to me the most when we were going through that. I mean, it took for us to just really sacrifice and not be able to do a lot of things at that time in order to get this out of our life. As far as this payment that could have went on for 25 more years, we just did not want to do that. And looking at our mortgage statement, where it was showing that we were paying $500 a month, and so, which some people would assume pay more than that, but we were paying that in just interest only. And that's the attitude that I had at that time, just to say, we work too hard to be just sending $500 to the bank. I don't want to continue to do that. And so we stopped doing it. So, I mean, it's like once you've gotten to the point to where you live without a bunch of payments, it's just so freeing. I personally believe, and I'm sure there's people that can back me up on this, as far as if you want to come from a biblical standpoint, I believe that debt is from the devil, because in my opinion, debt can dictate many aspects of your life. It can dictate where you live, what you eat, how often you have to work, how much, everything. It is all dictated by debt if you allow that to be the case. And I did not want that to be the case. I want to be able to do what I choose to do without something being attached to our finances saying, but you have to do this or you can't do this. And so it's been working for us. Like he said, we haven't had a credit card together since we've been married. And people might say, well, what about for a rainy day? Well, that's why you save your money. So if something, and I understand it can be something, well, God forbid, it could be something that's just astronomical could happen and wipe out that rainy day fund. But we don't rely on a credit card to be our rainy day backup plan.
And so I wanted to let people know I've been on both sides of the spectrum. And debt freedom and being in debt. I had a 800 credit score. And so for people that don't know, 800 is like you can just about walk in and sign your name and say, I want this, and they don't do much of a background on it. And I was at that point. But at this point, I haven't checked my credit score in over a year, I think, and I really don't care. And so credit doesn't matter to me. And as long as we put back money for situations that arise, we'll be okay. I don't need to go to the bank and ask for their money. As long as I have my own money, I'm my own bank. And I know that might sound arrogant, but it's not. It's coming from a place of humbleness, because I've tried the other way of thinking. That's how I attained an 800 credit score, because I tried that way of thinking. And there was times that I had 800 credit score and I ain't had no money before the next check came. So I was punning, going to the pawn shop. I was trading my items for money to make it to the next paycheck. And so now that I don't have a credit score, in my mind, I have cash. So it just depends on what you want. And I know it's some people that make it throughout this world. Leveraging is the term they use, debt. But it's a dangerous thing, and it can come back to bite you. And I'm talking from personal experience. And so it's about personal choice, and this what works for us, and it's freeing, and that's the route that I want to be. And so I would encourage people, from my perspective, to be debt free if you can, and possibly own your own business if you have that mindset. And that's what's helped us along the way. And it take a paradigm shift in your mind to get to those levels of debt free and owning your own business, because it's not what's taught to African Americans that I know of. When you come through school, they're teaching you how to get a job. When you get out of school and when you go to college, they're teaching you how to get into debt. That's why they give away credit cards with you being a freshman with no job. So just take a mind shift, and it's a hard mind shift, but once you get a taste of what it's like, you might like it. So I would encourage whoever has the ability to do it to do it.
And again, like I said, in the beginning, these are our opinions. This is what has worked for us for years. I'm sure, there will be people that'll say, owning your house is stupid. Okay, well, it's working for us. And until we see where being debt-free is not working, we'll continue to stand on being debt-free, because it works for us. I personally do not want to be in a position, and this is no jab or dig at anyone who is currently in this position, because things happen, and I understand that life happens. I understand that, but I do not want to be 70 years old, 75 years old, still showing up to a job to pay a car payment or a mortgage. I do not want to do that. And I'm serious. I do not want to do that. And that's my choice. That's my opinion. And that's how I look at it. So whatever I needed to do earlier on to set myself up so that I would not be in that position, I was willing to do it. And like I said, it took me denying myself of a lot of things, but it's okay. I'm alive and I survived it. And I don't look to do it again. I don't want to be in debt again, but if I had to go through that process again, I would, because it wasn't, it didn't take us out or anything. But again, like I said, in the previous video, we touched on what are our thoughts about being in Africa, and we touched on some of the things that were taught to us as kids. And so now we're giving you our outlook in the opposite direction, as being raised in the U.S. and what was taught to us there. And we had to kind of break some of that stuff down too. So, you have anything else? That is our thoughts and opinions on our debt freedom. If you have any thoughts and opinions about this topic, feel free to drop your opinions or thoughts or comments below. We can talk about it for a little bit. If you have enjoyed this video, I appreciate it if you would share it with someone else, because we want to get the word out about this. It's cool to be debt free. It's working for us, and so I believe that. But yeah, if you like this video, please like it and share it and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to bringing you something else to enjoy in the next video. But if you don't have anything else with this one, I guess I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.